almost time for your presentation and you are going to face your audience soon. How do you feel? Do you feel like calling it quits and maybe giving the task to someone else? Or do you feel like you might run away from the stage? So what will happen if you walk onto the stage? Let us think of the scenario. So you're walking onto the stage and your heart is beating really fast. You reach in front of the mic, you open your mouth to speak, and then you realize that your mind is blank. Your heart starts beating even more faster, your hands starts trembling, you're sweating. What would you do? Let me tell you a story from my own life. So when I was around 18 years old, I was asked to give my first presentation. It was actually a seminar that I was supposed to take. And back then, there was this movie which showed dissociative identity disorder. So I thought it would be pretty cool for me to take the topic. So I grabbed my book, I underlined a few lines, I studied a few sentences, I read it 10 to 20 times, and I was actually ready to perform the next day. And then the day came, I walked in front of the class, I took my book, I kept it on the desk. Then I looked up, saw my classmates, which were around 30 students. And then I realized that my mind is completely blank. So my heart started beating fast, I was trembling, I was sweating, I was so nervous, I didn't know how to go forward. But then I somehow read a few lines from the book. There was this one guy sitting in front of me. I just looked at him, completely ignoring the audience. I read the whole thing, I told him whatever I prepared, and then I went back to my seat completely defeated. Looking back now, I can point out all the mistakes that I made. Like for example, there was no structure, I tried to study everything word for word, and I didn't own the topic and I had no sincerity towards the topic, and also that huge book on the desk. So while preparing, the first thing that I would like to tell you is to choose a topic that you can connect with. If the topic is already given to you, then try to make a connection with it. Like research, think about all the things that happened in your life that you could use as example for your topic, or all the stories that you've read. Use them all and try to feel a connection towards your topic. Something that I noticed while taking class is that my students were very comfortable talking about themselves rather than talking about something totally different. So whenever you choose a topic, make it look like an extended version of yourself. Make it feel like it is an extended version of yourself. After you have done your research, make a proper structure to it. Like how are you going to start the topic and how are you going to conclude? Make a visual board in your mind and try to show your audience that particular visual board. So while choosing a particular topic and structuring to it, here's a huge mistake that I did back then. And also a lot of people do the same mistake when they're nervous or overexcited. So when I was trying to present this topic, dissociative identity disorder, what I tried to do was I tried to talk about the disorder, its history, its symptoms, family, medication, and all that for a presentation that was supposed to be for only 5 minutes. And I tried to do something that takes like many days to be taught. But instead, if I would have done something like talk about the disorder, a few symptoms and a few examples, then the presentation would have had more impact. And also I think I would have done a pretty good job. It would have been a little more easier for me to remember. Sometimes you might lose flow while presenting. This can happen when you're presenting for the first time or when you're too much into the topic. So the next thing that I would like to tell you to do is to write out the key points for your reference. The audience in front of you are your friends, so let's talk to them rather than reciting to them a written speech. You imagine yourself in their position and think about what you would like to hear. You're over there to show them that the topic that you have is amazing, and you want to show them why you love it and why they would love it. The key points that you have written down the sheet is used just for your reference, just for you to check whether you're going on the right track. And if you're presenting a PPT, this is exactly what you'll be doing, just the key points on the PPT for the audience to know the flow of your talk. Filling the PPT with a lot of information is not an ideal thing to do, because you are the speaker and the attention should be towards you, and you are going to guide them and show them the beauty of your topic. There's this activity that I use for my students to practice, and that is I ask them to choose a picture and then describe it to me in such a way that I should be able to visualize it. I asked them not to show me the picture. Rather than that, they should be able to make me visualize the picture through their description. So this is a great activity for you if you suffer from having a proper structure while presenting. These are the major key points that you have to focus while preparing for your presentation. Now the fourth point actually involves when you're on the stage to present, that is connecting with the audience. Try to maintain eye contact with the audience, avoid focusing on just one or two person though. The audience should feel like you're there to speak to them rather than just on the stage to complete a particular task and move on. So choose a person, share an idea, then go to the next person, next idea. Keep doing that. Also, while presenting, I've noticed a lot of people maintaining a fixed position, like no hand movements, no walking, nothing, just complete still. This usually happens when you're not prepared. And when I say preparation, let me remind you once again that I do not mean having a word-to-word recital of your written speech, but rather having an overall idea of what you're going to say, the whole structure, and then present it with sincerity. The last point that I wanted to keep in mind is the tone and speed while speaking. I personally had this problem. I used to speak very fast, often leaving my audience confused. And also my tone varied haphazardly. There is something that I tell my students before their public speaking session, that it is absolutely natural to feel scared before a presentation. Even the people who have been giving public speeches for many years feel this fear before their presentation. And also, it is absolutely natural to feel, getting onto the stage and feel like you have gone blank. When this happens, what I ask them to do is pause, close your eyes, take a few breaths, and then smile. Greet your audience, then slowly move on to the topic. This is exactly what I would ask you to do. I hope these tips are useful for you, and I also sincerely hope that you have a great public speaking session. I'll try to add these points towards the end of my video so that you can use it for reference before your session. Other than that, if you like my video, please click on the like button, and if you want to see such similar tips and tricks before a public speaking session, then do subscribe to my channel. Also, if you have any other questions or if you want to share your personal experience with the public speaking session, do leave a comment. I would love to read them. Thank you.